We are. Hello. Welcome to the Shop Class Podcast. Ron, you got to lead us in.
Okay, welcome to the Shop Teacher Podcast with Mr. G and Mr. Barberjack. We have a special guest. Mr. Barberjack, please introduce our special guest.
Yeah, our special guest, his name is Tay Kang, and he's a representative for the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Prize, which I'm honored and humbled by being a recipient of last year. But they're starting their new roundup this year. So, Tay, tell us what's on the table here.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored. This is my first ever time participating in a podcast.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you for having me. And before I really begin, I want to congratulate you, Matthew Barbercheck, again for being a second place winner for the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools 2018 Prize for Teaching Excellence. And hopefully that $50,000 prize, which $35,000, going to your program, and $15,000 for, hopefully a vacation, a well-deserved vacation for yourself, or whatever purposes you decided for. But we are really excited to announce that the 2019 Prize for Teaching Excellence will open on April 17th, 2019. Round one applications will be open. So if you are interested and you want to, if you are interested in competing for the prize, please visit hftforschoolsprize.org and get started.
Yeah, that's soon. That's like only 13 days away. So we'll be releasing this at the perfect time.
For sure.
People. Don't eat. We could almost release it. You got no excuses. You can't forget about it because it'll be released. That's so close. That's very close. And was that different than when I did did you guys change the timeline on that?
It is. We moved it up a bit, and we're starting in April rather than later towards the summer. We want to give teachers a little bit of time to enjoy their summer vacations. But
that's cool. That's very thoughtful. One thing I'll say about going through your guys' prize and application is it's work. It's meaningful work. It's very meaningful work, but it's also presented to you from somebody who is being very empathetic to teachers' workload, in the sense that, like what you just said there, we want teachers to enjoy summer vacation. I remember the day they were announcing this, and Ron and I talked about this we did a podcast on, hey, I won. You guys sent out that email and said, just focus on teaching, don't stress over it. And so that was like really cool. And then I found out that was almost like a little bit of a gag to catch me off guard and surprise me. But overall, it was a very, very worthwhile endeavor to apply for this prize.
We truly believe in the value of hard work. We truly believe in supporting people who work with their hands and their heads and their hearts to lift up students, to give students new skills, and to help build an economy and workforce that our country needs. And to your point about hard work, Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, we're donating, $1 million to 18 outstanding teachers and teacher teams across the country. So we really, with the money we're giving out, we would hope that a little bit of hard work and grit and thoughtfulness goes into the prize applications, for sure.
Totally fair expectation. And again, it was meaningful work. That was my second time applying. And so the first time I wasn't a recipient of the prize. The second time I was, but I remember walking away after that first time and even thinking like, that was some excellent professional development,
Oh, excellent. That's, we're really excited and proud to hear that. We want to hear from the voices of teachers about what they're experiencing in the classroom, what they're doing, and what you've all done to, really make innovative advances in skilled trades education. But we also wanted to help provide you with some ideas and best practices and professional development through the learning modules that the teachers have to engage in. And we found that the teachers who truly engage in the process, who watch the videos, who think about it fully, who try to find ways to apply it for their own classroom, those are the ones who succeed, and those are the ones who are awarded either the first place prize of $100,000 or the second place prize of $50,000.
Heck yeah.
Wow. This is amazing.
Ron, I want to pull you in on here as someone who hasn't applied for this or aren't familiar with the application process. What questions would
Yeah, I'll be honest. I really disregarded it because, I hear about things that look like a coupon. I didn't really pay attention, to be honest, the first time around. And then when I found out that the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Foundation was like serious, that's when I was like, wow, oh my God, the Calvary's here. What a cool, yeah, what a cool thing. And, like I'm always surprised, like, you got, there's so many businesses that would benefit from supporting shop teacher classes. And yet, you don't really see much coming from them. And, when you do, it's like a coupon or something like that. But this is like really full on, really supportive of the teachers. There's a lot of, it's not just the money, the promotion. And like you said, the professional development, like you enjoyed, like Barbercheck enjoyed the process of going through it. I'm going to try next time. And I think I encourage anybody else to. This is a real thing. You guys are really putting an effort into supporting the teachers, which is clearly a support of the students. So, I'm impressed. I really, and I didn't look at it at first. So my mind has been changed. This is very cool.
For sure. We're glad you converted, and we're excited to receive and read your application, right? I think the prize is meant to really shine a light on the excellent work that skilled trades teachers across the country are doing, right? We often heard that, there is, that teachers are siloed, skilled trades teachers are siloed from the other departments at their schools. And we want to lift up and shine a light on the hard work that each of you do each and every day. And also we want to, one of the things other things we heard from teachers is that there's a stigma around skilled trades, right? There's a stigma around working with your hands or doing auto shop, and we want to change that perception. We feel that there's no other prize out there that is giving $1 million to teachers in a certain sector, right? I think this prize is unique in that aspect that I don't think there's an English teacher prize or a history teacher prize or a math teacher prize, but we have a prize specifically for shop classes, for auto teachers, for welding teachers, for carpentry teachers. So we think this is really unique and can really change the field.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Most schools got rid of these classes. So you're not only helping to highlight the ones that survived the downturn, but also you're helping them thrive. And, there's a lot of districts that are probably on the fence. If they still have the program, then they're not sure. Like when I first got, just a personal story to drive it home, like when I first got to where I was, where I am, I'm in West New York. When I first got here, the shop class was only 2 teachers, and one of them was about to retire, and it was very unclear whether they were going to continue it. And a prize grant really helped out, and that was only because I took the auto shop and made it relevant to other people's lives. So like we had $4 a gallon in New Jersey in 2008, and I started in 2005. But in 2008, it was $4 a gallon, and then I, with my students, converted a gasoline car to electric. And what happened was that transcended the idea that this is just an elective. And people were like, wow, so we don't have to buy gasoline. I was like, yeah, we're solving problems that you have in your life. It's not just, the carpenter or something like that. This is like something you can relate to. You can relate to this. So that brought in a prize, and the prize changed everything. Now all of a sudden people are interested. They saw it as a viable thing. It was beneficial to the students. And so this is similar. So if there's a shop teacher out there and they're putting 150% in, and they just need that little bit of support, and you guys come in with like a prize or even the application process and highlight a program, I think that would be the thing that tips the scale over towards, hey, this is like a real thing, and it doesn't just have to be this side elective. It could be a path to success for students, so that really helps.
Absolutely, right. We believe that skilled trades education is vital to the growth of students, right? These are students who get to work, who get to connect, who get to make connections between their other subjects, right? Like they make math relevant. It makes geometry more accessible, right? When you're designing a house or making furniture, right? And we rely on the skilled trades each and every day. Where would we be without people to fix our cars or to build our homes or, you know, to make our furniture, right? These trades are absolutely vital to our society. One of my colleagues loves describing it as the skilled trades are the infrastructure of the infrastructure, right? And that it's they make our society function and run smoothly. Yeah, what would happen if all the plumbers were gone, right? All the toilet, where would our bathrooms be? Where would our homes be? So you're absolutely right. The trades make things relevant, and they're incredibly necessary for our society.
I think there's a new slogan in there. I like what you said at the beginning. You said head, heart, and hand, or whatever the combination was. The 3 H's.
Yes.
So we can add to it. It was industrial arts, then it became STEM, then it was STEAM. Now we could call it the 3H.
Yeah, let's rebrand it. Yeah, we need to do that every 6 months. Yeah, it's the last branding's expired. The other slogan I liked in there is the infrastructure of the infrastructure, and the question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the question of what would happen without it. And I'll tell you, I live in an area where there's not a lot of competition for skilled trades because they're so rare. And what does happen is you get some, you either got to pay cream of the crop prices for these people to show up to do anything, or you got hacks that see that as opportunity, but they may not be qualified. And then those are compromised, and that further degrades, instills a stigma. Having those hacks around kind of taking advantage of that situation. So real quick, Tay, let's walk Ron and the other shop teachers through what this year's process looks like.
Sure, absolutely. So on April 17th, visit hftforschools.prize.org. And then, or you can just, Google or search for Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Prize, and something will come up. Click on that, and it will direct you to there. You visit the prize, you need to register. And then after you confirm and validate your email, you'll then be able to log in. You'll see a series of questions that talk about your teaching background and experience, right? We want to hear more about what you currently do. And then that's kind of the first part of the application. And then next, we have the learning modules, which you've talked about, Matthew, and they're a series of expert-led professional development tools where you can watch these videos about certain topics, and we'll ask you a series of questions based on those, whether they're, what kind of practices do you already do that are explained in the video, or are there any ideas or practices that you gained from watching this video, and how can you apply that for your classroom? So we're talking about, past experiences, success, but also future innovation. And that's, we hope that combination does provide a really insightful and rich experience for skilled trades teachers.
Interesting. Okay. So you basically, you get like some prompts, and you said there's a video in there?
Yeah. So the round one application will have a series of questions that talk about what impact do you make on your students, outside the classroom, or how do you connect your curriculum to relevant course pathways, and then those types of questions. And then there's 2 videos for round one, and they're on 2 different topics, and you watch them and, hopefully reflect on them. And there's something in there that you can really apply to your own classroom for the future.
Did you guys produce these videos in-house?
Yes. We worked with another organization for like the filming, but these are our own in-house products and development.
It's so cool. I'm so glad people are thinking about us. It's like,
isn't it nice? It's a nice breath of fresh air, isn't it, Ron? I mean,
I'm not used to this.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Tay, I want to throw this story in there. So my old man, I was just on spring break. My old man came up and visited. We did a little shop project, and I had a lot of time to talk. It was really nice. And he's asking me about this prize, and I said, "Oh, well, they're actually gonna fly me out to LA this summer. Really? I said, yep. And he's like, yeah, have you ever been there? I said, nope, never been there. He's like, oh, well, you know, probably just get a taxi. I said, oh no, they're gonna pick me up. Oh, really? I said, yeah, they're gonna drive me to a hotel. They're gonna feed me. They're gonna house me. They're gonna take care of me. And he's just like, you know, he's in the corporate world, so he's used to receiving this type of treatment.
Sure.
But he's always, I'm sure there's always been him looking at me, and he knows I'm hustling just as hard, and has some frustrations in like, you know, it was just cool. He's just like, oh my gosh, you know, like, yeah, like you deserve this. This is great. And I was like, yeah, like you, Ron, I'm kind of like, oh man, people, I'm acknowledged, I'm recognized, like this is sweet, you know, like,
Yeah.
so I gotta say, for that alone, and let's talk about that for a second, about this Let's Build It Institute, because I think that's an awesome bonus. I'm really looking forward to this, but you're flying this year's and last year's winners out to LA for like a conference.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, what's the Let's Build It Institute? Is that the conference out there? Or is that something else?
No, it is. It is the conference out here in LA. We had it last year for the first time, right? We flew out the 2017 winners, and we wanted them to meet, to get to know each other, and form a professional network and form some friendships along the way, and for them to be able to talk about their experiences and in teaching and share best practices with each other. But we also wanted to put these excellent teachers to work. We got them together, and we asked them to reflect on what are some of the biggest challenges in skilled trades education today, education as a whole, and how can we confront those challenges and issues together. And we encouraged them to think of some projects that would impact the field, and we would support and fund some of the projects that rose to the top. So
Wow.
we're doing it again this year, right? We're bringing out the 2017 and 2018 winners. We want them to form a strong network and to, again, share best practices, and, you know, right, to feel that there are other outstanding teachers out there who are working as hard and putting a lot of effort into what they do. And also, again, to look at what are some of the challenges in skilled trades education, and figure out some new innovative practices and projects that could really elevate the field. So that
sounds cool.
For sure.
Is there some samples you have of that? What are some of the projects? Is that something I can ask, or is it too early?
It's a little too early, but
Okay.
like some of the kind of ideas that we've talked about are like about videos, right? Others are, you know, how to serve, you know, elementary school students.
Ooh,
that's being talked
nice.
about as well. So yeah, we'll there's still a lot of the projects are still being formed, but we're really excited to see where they go. I wanted to share a story with you as well, man. You know, like, you know, Matthew, your story really reminded me of like how this all started, is because the CEO of Harbor Freight, Eric Schmidt, when he was, you know, growing up, had really a lot of, you know, challenges, and you know, in school and in his family, and he was considering, you know, whether or not high school was really for him and worth it. And he had a shop teacher who really encouraged him and really motivated him to stick with his education, to graduate high school. And then he went on to start this company, and he's been quite successful. And he wanted to start Harbor Freight Tools for Schools to, you know, in a lot of ways, give thanks and pay back that shop teacher who really changed his life, and the value, and
That's awesome.
to show the importance of these teachers who work with students who are often, you know, struggling in other classrooms, or, you know, don't feel like maybe they have a place to go, but that shop, that getting to work with their hands is a viable pathway for success, like it's been for Eric. So yeah, that's why we feel that, you know, flying you all out here, and you know, picking everyone up from the airport, and getting to be here in LA, like, he wants to treat, and we want to treat these teachers like you all, like rock stars that you are.
That's awesome. Yes.
This is so crazy, Ron. They're providing meaningful professional development. All right. That's not a norm at all. they're rewarding people for serious commitment to their professional development. Like, how many times do we see that happen?
Yeah.
And they're grouping us together and listening to us.
Oh my God. What are you going to do? I mean, it's like a flip flop, man. This is amazing.
And
beautiful Southern California while you're at it.
Oh yeah. You can't beat that.
yeah, I've never been there, so I'm pretty pumped up.
I'm already giving Barbara-Check places to go. I go to Venice Beach. I love it.
Nice.
I go out. See, Jersey's just crazy. So every summer I go out to California just at least for a week, just to, like, I can like move my shoulders a little bit. You go to the beach, put your feet in the sand. Yeah, they got beaches here, but like, Snooki is down there with you. So, when you go to California, everybody's like, whatever, man, it's gotten chilled out. So it's a nice break.
That's cool. Well, I think like the shop classes and industrial programs that are out there really have the potential to be the pulse of the community, or a very strong pulse of the community. And we haven't been able to get that heart beating for a while, just because we've been on life support. And here you guys are. I think that you guys are a huge life support system here and putting pulse into us, and that pulse, it's gonna resonate eventually. It's gonna have that that it already has, but it's gonna bring you talked about shop classes ending up as a silo, which is unfortunate. It shouldn't happen, where we kind of end up in our own. We've all got our own wing of the building. It's the dark area that people don't go down to unless they have to. It's usually the last to get maintenance or service if we need it. And so it's unfortunate to everybody else. It's not like a woe be me when I talk about that. It's like no, I feel sorry for you guys, because if you're an active patron or shareholder in this shop program or these industrial programs, like, you will benefit drastically. The community will benefit drastically. We can provide services to the school and community members and really bring creativity to life and bring employment to students and other community members. So I just think that I'm so passionate about all this stuff, and I'm just so grateful for the Lifeline, because without it, like, that's my vision. And like, I've got a vision. I've got a downtown South Republic here where I live. It's got one hardware store, and every time I drive through it, I tell myself there's going to be 3 more stores that kids are going to be running that we taught, and you guys shortened the timeline on that. I mean, with everything you guys have done, you guys shortened the timeline on that. And that's awesome, because, as Ron knows, as all our shop teachers know, we all feel the sense of urgency, but we may be the only one that feels a sense of urgency, and our patience is tested every day of managing that sense of urgency while also just keeping a positive foot moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I think we here at Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, we're dedicated and are committed to lifting up excellent teachers like yourselves, but also, shining a light on the issues that our country and our workforce face, but also, right, especially with all the baby boomers retiring, right, and you guys are at the front lines of helping provide jobs and livelihoods for students who really could use it. But I think one of my favorite parts of the application is reading about the impact that skilled trades classrooms have in their communities, right? I think getting to build projects with elementary school students, or refurbishing parks or providing auto maintenance or oil changes for the fleet of school buses, right? Skilled trades classrooms do this, right? No, their classrooms can really provide the daily support that skilled trades classrooms can. And I think they deserve to be saluted. They deserve to be highlighted. And we're excited and happy to be here to continue to shine a light on the good works that people are doing.
I want to jump in and kind of, Barbara-Check and I started this podcast. This will be episode 34, and we did this over the last. Is it a year now, or or 8 months?
We're at 30 episodes, and we do about one a week. So
yeah, well, yeah, okay. So then, yeah, we're close. Oh, we're getting close to a year, and like when I first discovered BarberCheck through Instagram, I was like amazed because I can relate, even though we're from like two different worlds, because I'm in the third most densely populated city, but per capita, per square mile. Sorry. Okay. What does it say? Upgraded by the host and include. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So BarberCheck teaches in like the opposite. He's in like probably the least densely populated area
very
of the country.
sparsely populated, most sparsely populated.
Yeah. But what's interesting about BarberCheck that I was attracted to initially, obviously you were friends, but it's amazing because he took something that was literally just a room, and it was kind of like a forgotten about space, and he made it his mission over a marathon, like over years, to develop it into this functional space. And I've seen that develop on Instagram. I remember when we first saw him, he had some blank walls and there wasn't that much stuff. And he's like, all right, we're going to get this set up. We're going to get this and then he's not just systematic about that. He's systematic and long-term about his students and about the curriculum as well. And then on top of that, he also teaches 2 Spanish sections, and he's very systematic about that too. And so I'm looking at that and I'm going, wow, that guy, I'm projecting, but there's got to be moments where a person like BarberCheck in that situation is like, dude, what am I doing this for? This is like moving a mountain. This is crazy. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll go to the metal shop closet and there's equipment in there that hasn't moved since the 40s, and it's got dust all over it. And I'm like, man, people don't even care about this. And then all of a sudden, I'll hear kids practicing their play in the upstairs, and there's like this thin part of the ceiling, and you can hear them singing, and it's like angels, and it's like, wow. And I'm like, oh my God, and it was like, and they're like, I'm like, what is that? What is that? And I'm thinking to myself, wow, these kids, they're benefiting drastically from all the changes and all the effort that teachers put in. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You're in it for a very long time. You can make little dedicated incremental changes, and you walk that step. And every year you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And you make it better. And the thing about shop teachers is it's physically demanding because you're the janitor, you're the maintenance person, you're the systematic thinker. You're also the teacher in the room where you're the authority, but you're also the drug counselor because you got to make sure, everything's cool and you notice stuff about kids and stuff. So like, that's a very demanding. Now, don't get me wrong. Someone could say, wow, you got the summers off and blah, 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 and this and that. But I'm like, I don't know. It seems to me it's a difficult job. So when you guys come in with this support, it's very welcome from shop teachers because if shop teachers can relate, it's not easy because there's so many little pieces to the puzzle, So anyway, that's kind of like my little.
I think we had that in mind when we structured the prize, especially in the funding, right? Just to say again, the first place winners, of which there are 3, the 3 first place winners will each receive $100,000, with $70,000 going towards their skilled trades program, right? To refurbish it, to providing tools and equipment, and for resources, and then with $30,000 going towards themselves, and then the 15 second place winners will each receive $50,000, with $35,000 going towards their program, and then $15,000 going towards themselves. So, and they can use those individual funds as they wish, right? I think if they want to go on vacation, or if they want to help pay the mortgage, if they want to help pay for their children's tuitions, these are some of the things that we can do to help, unload the burden for teachers who sacrifice so much just a little bit. So we love hearing the stories about how people use their funds, and we're excited to continue supporting teachers in this way.
Yeah, that's just sweet. I'm gonna put this podcast in my happy folder. I got. In fact, we've been talking shop teachers up so much. I think all of us should put this in our happy folder. I keep a happy folder for those bad days you're talking about, Ron. And that's like just notes from students or this podcast episode or things that newspaper articles written about our program, things that kind of give me a little bit of juice back when I've had a rough day. And this, I think this episode's going to have to go in that happy folder.
Nice. Nice. I could just a little piece about, you said the CEO's name is Eric. I can relate. When I was in high school, it didn't fit. I didn't swim with all the fish over there because, they're asking you to memorize a lot of stuff. And, shop class, when you mention shop class to people, a lot of people react and they say, oh my God, shop class? That's the only reason I finished high school. Or they'll say, oh my God, shop class, that was my favorite. Now, why is that? Now, not everybody, obviously, but why is that? And I think it's because it's the only class where you're asked to create something. And memorization is definitely lower down on the priority list. Memorization is a difficult thing for a lot of people, not because, it's hard to memorize something. You can memorize stuff. But the thing is, if you don't know why a topic is important, then why would you memorize it? I mean, right now you're not thinking about the color of the ceiling because it's not important. You know what I mean? But if you're in a class where you're told to memorize something and then you're penalized if you don't, that's a stressful thing. Like when I was a kid, that was really stressful. I felt crazy when teachers would penalize me for not memorizing something I didn't care about, And then when you get to shop class, which I didn't have because they got rid of it in my school. Once I went to school for industrial design, which is pretty much shop class in college. And then, I got lucky. I was like, wow, this is great. So you just build stuff? You got to be kidding me. So you draw something and then you make it. And in between is the journey of using the materials. If you have to learn how to weld, then you got to learn how to weld. If you got to learn how to cut some wood on a table saw, then you got to learn, And so that whole journey, sometimes it's difficult because it might be too much of a skill jump. But if you give these kids shop class early on, it's not for everyone, but it's a creative space. And I think that's super important. It's a big thing in I think it's pretty obvious, like all over the internet, people are talking books and stuff. People are talking about creativity over just memorization, and memorization is important because you got to learn, you got to learn all your basics or whatever. But, without the creativity, you're not really celebrating the individual. That's kind of what I think. So shop class is like important, for everyone, I think,
Well, it's great that you mentioned that. Actually, one of the learning modules last year that Matthew, I hope you remember with that group, So Can You, where you presented on career and job satisfaction numbers that they've done research on, and skilled trades jobs, the workers report high levels of satisfaction because you're right, because they get to create, they get to build, they get to work with their hands. It's not just sitting in a cubicle all day, or it's not just based on their memorization, but they're actually creating things, and that being able to create things is highly correlated with job satisfaction, right? That's why chefs, right, folks in culinary really report a high level of satisfaction because they get to create and they get to design, but they also, their work is relevant to people, right? Where would we be without food, right? And so people in the skilled trades, welders, auto mechanics, carpenters also report high levels of satisfaction because it's not just, you're right, memorization, but actually getting to build things.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm happy that so many people are pushing for this more in education. You've got passion projects, you've got inquiry-based teaching, you got guided discovery, you've got project-based learning and problem-based learning, and the STEM and the STEAM. But the funny thing about all of this, and I guess this is why, I don't hold any resentment against people making those strides in other content areas. In fact, I welcome it. I want it. But sometimes I think people like Ron and I and the other shop teachers out there are kind of like, hey, we're over here. Like we've been doing some of that, like cool, but there's no recognition of it, which is funny because I can hold in my hand my father's passion project from when he graduated in like 1976. And it's like his STEM project and his inquiry project and his free choice project and all these kind of trendy buzzwords that get thrown around. So that's one more reason, again, not knocking the people making those strides in other areas of education, grateful for it really, but you guys stepping up and saying, we're going to put shop teachers on a pedestal. It's like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's funny you mentioned that you can hold your dad's passion project. Like my favorite subject in school was history, but I don't think I have any of my history tests left over or any of the right. But you have your dad's project from his shop class. So
yeah,
really,
that's cool.
Yeah. So let's get some of the main talking points. Let's make sure we hit them all about the prize.
Sure.
$1 million total in prizes.
Yes.
18 winners.
Yes.
3 of them will be first place winners.
Yes.
They get 70.
Those first place winners will receive $100,000. Again, $70,000 for their skill trades program and $30,000 for themselves.
For whatever they want for themselves. Yes. All right. And then you've got 15 second place winners.
That's correct. Again, with $50,000, with $35,000 going towards their program and $15,000 going toward themselves. Similarly, they can use it however they wish.
Excellent. And then this is open to U.S. public high school teachers. And it can be a CTE program. It can be an industrial arts program, industrial tech program, skilled trades program.
So yeah, we know there's great need everywhere, but Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, right now we're focused on U.S. public high school skilled trades program, whether that's manufacturing, carpentry, auto, transportation, mechanics and repair, construction. Right, these are the programs which we're supporting, and we've supported them the last 2 years of the prize, and we look forward to celebrating and supporting these programs for this year, the prize as well.
Excellent. So that starts April 17th. You got till June 17th to finish it, but it's a significant workload. So if I can't remember if you guys structured it where you had to meet. You had 2 phases.
Yes. So April 17th again is when round 1 applications will open up. We're giving teachers this year 2 months to complete the round 1 application. Right. We've done surveys and we've heard from teachers' voices where they said we would appreciate a little bit more time. We would, appreciate, having it earlier, so not in the summer. So we took these comments to heart and we've implemented that. And so teachers will get 2 months starting in April 17th until June 17th to complete the round 1 application. And then round 1 judging will occur. And then in July, we will announce our semifinalists, and then of those semifinalists, they will move on to round 2 of the application, where there will be 2 new learning modules to watch and reflect on. And then on October 24th, we will announce our first and second place winners and get to celebrate them. So again, so the prize opens up April 17th. Round 1 applications are due June 17th, and several months later, on October 24th, 2019, we'll celebrate the 18 winners.
That's awesome. And I'm going to sneak in a couple tips out there for anyone that's applying. I think you even said it verbatim. You said be specific as possible, maybe, or maybe I just imagined that in this, but that's correct.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, that was I could see how it was some of the questions, it would be easy to try and like put a vague response. But what I try to do was be as specific as possible and highlight kind of even anecdotal evidence to get my point across. And then if I could back it up with bigger evidence, but kind of gave that anecdotal evidence, some specific stuff for the past experience. And then for the future, just like you would set up a SMART goal, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and on a time deadline. That's kind of how I structured writing it out for the future. So I just wanted to throw those tips out there to anyone applying for this. And also I want to say that it is a time commitment. So just like what I did was I made a point to just either open it up and review the question almost daily a little bit. You know, maybe I'd write one sentence, maybe I'd write 100 sentences, but not, I was sure I did not want to do the college student cram the last day before the due date with it. So, and I think I got the most value out of it. Again, setting the prize aside, I got a lot of value out of it.
Those are some great tips. Yeah, we're looking for people who are able to communicate clearly, and specifically how their program has been successful and how they really connect with their students, right? I think it's easy to write, I love my students or I love my kids, but we're looking for anecdotes, we're looking for metrics, we're looking for examples of where that your teaching comes to life. And right, I think you know, each person's different in terms of the process. Some people, you know, I'm a person who likes writing things out, you know, increment by increment. I know there's others out there who love writing things at last minute with the pressure, but do what's best for you. But I think your is a really good one. I know I would write in the same way of reflecting and slowly and getting to think deeply about things, and then writing it out step by step.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Some really good tips.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna follow along the modules. Well, I'll probably see them at or I don't know if I will, but I think I'm gonna follow along, even though I'm not eligible to apply. Just because, again, I mean that I'm not just that first year I went through it. I got a lot out of it, even though I didn't win the money. The second year, and it's really upped my game. In fact, I think the reason I won the second year is because the first year planted a bunch of seeds in my head and in my program. It planted a ton of seeds, and those seeds grew during that year. And then when year 2 came around, I was like, okay, sweet. So if someone applied last year and didn't get it, like maybe that was just the way for seeds to get planted, and let's do it again.
That's a great point. I'm really happy and thrilled to say that. Right? I think the prize is competing for the prize is a growing experience, and that's what we hope for.
Totally.
And I think if you're interested in viewing the past 2 years learning modules, we actually have them on our Harbor Freight Tools for Schools.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you go to harborfreighttoolsforschools.org and then you click on the resources tab, you'll be able to see the learning modules from the past 2 years there. Or if you go on to if you click the prize page, you can see the learning modules for each respective year.
That's like cheating.
Well, those are the past 2 years, right? This year we'll have a few new learning modules.
Is it the answers too, or just oh, just the questions?
No, we just have the videos themselves on the resource page.
Oh,
yeah,
just the videos.
Just the videos, yeah.
From 2 years ago, but there's going to be a new set of videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the 2017 and the 2018 videos on the resource page, and then if you click on Prize for Teaching Excellence on the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools page, you can see the last year's winners, you can see last year's judges, you can see and last year's learning modules, or the ones from 2017 as well.
It's awesome.
Amazing.
Any final thoughts, Ron? Anything?
Yeah. It's an interesting community. So how many people applied? Do you have those numbers?
Sure. So last year we had 557.
Whoa.
So Matthew here was one of the top. I think to be a semifinalist, you were in the top like 8 to 9%. So from the take it even further. So
I wonder how many shop teachers there actually are.
That's a great question.
You know,
I don't know off the top of my head. So
not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet there was, one for every school back in the day, and now not so much. But
Yeah. Some schools had way more than one for every school, entire departments and wings back in the prime.
yeah, I mean, when I heard there was as many as 6 in my department, and then when I got here, there was 2, and then now we're up to 4. We're actually having an industry day tomorrow. We're inviting people in from other schools and the mechanics and also engineers. And we've never had that. This is the first time ever. I've been here 14 years. So things are changing, which is cool. And this really helps. It's when I say I'm a shop teacher to people, they people light up. They're like, oh yeah, I'll come to your industry day type of thing. So we got that going tomorrow. And then, this is an interesting thing. So I'm excited. I think I'm going to try and apply, and I'm going to watch your modules, and I'm trying to look for some answers. I'm trying, but
Ron's going to submit my application from last year.
Yeah, don't give it away, man. No, obviously, we got different, it's the passion's the same, but the story, how we got to where we are is totally different.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I just appreciate what you're doing. And I hope that, a lot of shop teachers see this, and because I ignored it the first time, and this is like a silly thing, because it's like, you guys are for real. You're really genuinely trying to help us. And so even if you don't win, like Barbercheck said, the process is good.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. Again, I'm really honored and thrilled to be on my first ever podcast. So this is a great.
Oh, this is the first one?
First one ever.
Oh,
So this was
my God.
Love to come back sometime, but again, thank you.
Yeah.
It was a fun conversation. But yeah, on April 17th, 2019, the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools 2019 Prize for Teaching Excellence will open up, and we're really excited to see what the next great teachers come up with and communicate with us. We are giving away, again, $1 million to 18 outstanding teachers and teacher teams across the country for U.S. public high school skilled trades teachers. So we are really, really excited for our third year of the prize, and we hope you apply. Please spread the word. But yeah, April 17th, 2019, do your best to win $1 million total prize money.
Nice.
Awesome.
Right, folks. You heard it here first, or maybe not, but you heard it here. And April 17th, put in your phone calendar right now.
Yeah.
If it's already past April 17th by the time you hear it, then get on that website.
Sure, you have until
right
June.
now.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the calendar. I don't memorize anything, so I got to put it in the calendar.
So cool. All right. Well, I think that calls it a wrap.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again soon.
I have no idea where I could even start to accurately represent my gratitude. So just
cool.
Major thanks. And thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for recycling this idea annually and delivering it so well. I just very thankful.
Hey, what's the plan? Are you going to go keep on going every year?
That's the plan. That's the plan for Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, and that's the plan of the Smith Foundation. So
nice.
We plan to do this every year. So
that's awesome.
Amazing.
Great.
Can I say I just had one more thing too?
Yeah.
To learn more about Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, please visit our website at harborfreighttoolsforschools.org. Don't forget, you also have an Instagram. Yes, we do. It's called @HFT for Schools. That's our Instagram, or our Twitter @HFT for Schools, or our Facebook. Look for us, Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, and please follow us and join us and follow along the journey for the 2019 Prize for Teaching Excellence. And awesome. On the Instagram, what was cool is you get to see the winners from last year. They highlight the program. So then if you're curious about that teacher, you can click on if they have an Instagram and you can contact them. I love the community that's developing from all this. It's amazing. It is truly amazing. So thank you. Cool. All right.
Well, I'll hit the I'll sign out here and we'll be good to go. So thanks again, Ron and Tay.
Yep.